there's also a rewiring of your own nervous system that has to happen. I mean, you've had, a disconnected brain maybe for a long time, not hooked up to your heart and guts, and it has all these adaptations that it's made to that reality. Whether it was the bipolar or the, narcissistic disorder, whatever happened to your brain as a result of not being hooked up to your body, those adaptations still exist. They don't magically disappear. That structure still exists in your nervous system. So there is, for me, a really pleasant, wonderful process of rewiring my own reactions and responses to life. For example, my sister died when I was 26, she was 17. A car ran up on the sidewalk and ran her over in the middle of New York. And so I had another sister that was in and out of mental institutions for, a quarter century. And these experiences made me fearful about my own kid. So any time that he would, exhibit any sort of antisocial behavior, I would freak out and worry that he was going to become a serial killer or something. That fear was not serving him well, right? Because a parent's expectation, which is what a fear is internalized by the kid. So if you're afraid your kid's going to be a serial killer, your kid might turn out like that guy on the other side. So I was very much aware that my fear was not serving him well, right? But I had to remap that response from being a fear-based one to being, what do I want to do? What response would serve him well? So every time I would feel something come up in me that was scared about how he was going to turn out, I would consciously change my belief, replace it with a belief that, an absolutely more true belief that actually he's fantastic and he's going to be terrific. I'm summarizing here and not saying it specifically as it was, but the point is I had to rewire my own brain to be a better parent, and to be a better person. And for me, it was a fun project, and it's certainly an ongoing project. But it's definitely part of the work. The point is you can't do that work until the feelings are conscious. So if you're having these same, I was certainly having those same fears before I went into the pain stuff, right? But they were not conscious, and I couldn't deal with them because I didn't know what they were. So really, basically, all that happens is this stuff comes into the light, and then it gets that you can sort it out, right? And then there's an ongoing practice of staying connected, and you're staying connected in a context that's really opposed to that. Like I said in the previous section, the culture, that the economy really thrives when people are disconnected. So you're battling that all the time. You can make bad choices, but you have to make it a practice to check in and re-tether to reality every day, all day long. The main reason I practice yoga is just to breathe. I don't have a tremendous asana practice. I have a good breathing practice. And the asanas to me are a way to practice breathing, get more breath into my body, and to reclaim other territories in my body. But it's not about the poses, it's about the breathing. And the breathing is about this stuff, the feeling. What do we have? 1, 2 minutes? Okay. So if you do the work and you reclaim your nervous system, and you got a whole nervous system again, then you can maybe live bravely. I had a student in Jamaica Plain who was 89 years old, and she would come to my class and she would sit there beaming, and she would never do a single asana, right? She had terrible rheumatoid arthritis, and she was just in total pain, but she was the happiest person and the best yogi I've ever known. And she told me, I lived 70 years not feeling. And, she had taken time in the hospital to somehow reconnect. I don't know how she managed to do it, but she did it. She really did it. You could feel that she was totally hooked up. And she said, I came into my body and all that I felt was pain. Physically, all that I feel is pain. But it doesn't feel like pain. It feels like I'm alive. And I'm so happy and so glad to be alive. And she just took such pleasure in the fact that her nerves were turned on, and she could feel anything. because for most of her life she hadn't felt anything. And so she continues to be my inspiration. And that's really all I have. One quick last thing for the last remaining minute. Let's go back to the belly breathing thing. You can come to seated if you want to. One hand to the belly, one hand to the back of the belly behind you. And take a few deep breaths. Close your eyes. Maybe tuck your chin just enough so your head feels free. But relax the belly, relax the breath deep into the belly. Again, let your inhale start to be as full, so full that you can feel the gentle stretch of the organs. And let your exhale be so emptying that you can feel that gentle squeeze of the organs. Now hold the arms closer in so they actually impede the belly from expanding, but still try to keep the belly filling. Do you feel more sensation in your belly? Do you feel more sensation in your kidneys, in your back body, in your back body? Now let your muscles of your belly do the work that your arms are doing. Let the muscles of your back belly do that gentle constraining. You can take the hands away if you want to. But you're breathing to feel the most intense, the most delicious, wonderful feelings, the most nerve sensation you can find in your belly. That muscular engagement around the belly breath is a proper Uddiyana Bandha. Now you can also do this with your Mula Bandha and your Jalandhara Bandha. All three bandhas are moving toward the breathing diaphragm. So when the breathing diaphragm is moving up and down, it's squishing the organs toward the pelvis or toward the throat. And by drawing the pelvic floor upward and the throat downward and the belly inward, you're increasing the stretch sensation in the organs of the thorax and the abdomen. Now, unfortunately, I've got to end it there. But thank you very much for coming. We should have no time for exercise. Thanks for listening.